All right, everybody, welcome back to Breathe 911. Deep breath in. It's interesting that I had that idea for deep breath in. I'm reading this book right now by Patrick McKeown called The Oxygen Advantage. And he just actually talks about how deep breathing can, our day-to-day breathing, to develop a higher CO2 tolerance, it's important to actually breathe lightly. So we're always learning and just diving into this incredibly simple yet expansive topic of breathing and mindfulness and cold exposure and how we live our healthiest lives through all this and all the different ways that all the different things, all the things we thought to be true one day that may not be true the next day, and how we just get to discover new things and discover what works best for each of us. Anyways, this book, The Oxygen Advantage, I was reading part of it this morning that I wanted to share because I found it so impactful. We've had a busy week. Today's Friday. Last Friday we left. We went down to Nashville. We were supposed to have an extended trip, but we had a sick dog that we had to put down yesterday, and she's no longer with us, and that's super sad. But through all this, we've been dealing with grief. That's such an interesting thing. I'm getting off on a tangent, but dealing with grief is such an interesting thing that we as first responders deal with on a day-to-day basis. And when you have other people's grief projected onto you at certain times and certain calls, and then when you deal with your own personal grief, man, does that hit different and hit hard sometimes. So I'm going to not go down that tangent today, but that's what's going on right now with us and our family. So what I was reading today was Ted Selker from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. It's talking about distraction. That's what this morning was about. And he says, because the internet offers so much choice, we end up spending our time flirting from one thing to another, shortening our attention spans and forming a habit of poor concentration. Selker suggests that the nature of web browsing could leave us with an attention span of just 9 seconds. And I would say with Instagram and TikTok and Facebook, and could leave us with an attention span even shorter than 9 seconds. And 9 seconds, interestingly enough, is the same attention span of a goldfish. So, he talks about gadget addiction and cell phone addiction and how that can potentially lead us to isolate ourselves from the people around us, even though we're in their presence. That's a super interesting point. And the whole point of this little section that I'm reading is about getting into what people call the zone, right? The place where time stands still, or even time, I guess not stand still, but time passes super quickly, where you can be involved in an activity and you are so focused and so concentrated on that one activity that 2 hours can go by and it can seem like 10 minutes. So he says here, the importance of being able to control and still the mind cannot be overestimated. A quiet mind enjoys good powers of concentration and is able to enter the zone at will. But this is talking about athletes. An athlete with an active mind will have a full head of unnecessary thoughts and will find it difficult to enter the zone. The mind is overactive during daily life. It follows the mind and will be overactive during sports. So those are talking about our habits and our routines and our daily things. If it's overactive during those things, when we go to try and concentrate on something that's important, it will stay that way. It also talks about, you could, of course, go down to your local bar and drink 6 or 7 beers. No doubt this approach will quiet the mind, as appealing as it sounds, which I think a lot of us have done, do, or will do in the future. Achieving a state of mind where thoughts are drowned with alcohol is not conducive to alertness and increased performance. For thousands of years, human beings have practiced different forms of meditation to quiet and tame the mind. Meditation allows you to pay attention to your thoughts, emotions, and feelings while reducing repetitive and useless thinking. So that's today's thought. Is the point I'm trying to make is we have a society, and I'm so guilty of it. I'm filming this on my iPhone, and we were just talking today, my wife and I were talking about how great it would be to go back to a flip phone. So that's on my list. I'll say it here first. That's my Christmas gift to myself, is by the new year, by Christmas, I'd like to be operating off of a flip phone for day-to-day life. cell phone, phone calls and text messages. Wouldn't that be something? I don't know if it's possible for me, but we're going to see. The other part, the part that I wanted to say is, as this relates to me, one way I've found that's been really helpful, that has worked for me to get into the moment, to get into the zone, is we're going to talk a lot more about cold exposure, but getting into really cold water. It does two things. One, you can only focus on that. You are literally not thinking about anything other than how cold you are when you first get in. The second is, it forces you, if you want to stay in for more than a few seconds, it forces you to control your breathing, to stay present, and to breathe through what you're going through, to overcome that huge cold rush and that stimulation and blood moving all around your body and blood going out to your limbs and your fingers to try and stay warm, and then quickly realizing that's a losing battle and shunting back into your vital organs. And as that process happens and you breathe through it, you become fully present, and you are basically, without sounding too like, I don't know, I don't even know the word, but without making it too, wishy-washy, out there, kind of ethereal thinking, it's more like it allows you to stay 100% focused and in that moment, and not think about all the other things you have going on in your life, all the other problems you may have, all the other worries, or even the good things that you're thinking about or things you're looking forward to. You are present in that moment. And anyways, I just wanted to highly recommend the book, The Oxygen Advantage by Patrick McKeown. I'm sure I'll be bringing more little nuggets from that book to you, but I wanted to just thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting us. If you want to subscribe, or I don't know all the things, I'm fumbling my way through this, but we would love it if you would subscribe. If you'd leave a comment, a rating, a review, or share it with someone. I feel like that's how people say it. That sounded good. Yeah. So let's go with that. And yeah, deep breath in. And we will see you next time.